liked it, friended it, followed it.
The character Mutagen Man has always been an awesome presence in the Ninja Turtles world. His original toy was a classic, and his appearances in the 1987 cartoon show were great. Mutagen Man, sometimes known as Seymour Guts, shows that getting mutated doesn't guarantee cool ninja skills or super strength. He usually seems tortured after his mutation, especially in the IDW comic books. Mutagen Man spends a lot of time feeling depressed, and at times suicidal. He tells the other mutanimals he'd like to die several times in the IDW comic, and seems to be in a lot of pain. During one tragic story arc, Old Hob and some other mutanimals show up to help and save Mutagen Man. But Mutagen Man feels that saving him and helping him means helping him end his suffering. In one of the darkest Ninja Turtles moments ever, Mutagen Man grabs Old Hob's hand, which is holding a gun, and says, "You said you're here to save me, so save me," and points the loaded gun at his own head. This scene was so brutal. Mutagen Man is tormented by his mutation, and it was painful to read. There's another troubled and tortured version of Mutagen Man in the 2012 Ninja Turtles show. And a lot of Ninja Turtles fans feel tormented too, because they don't know what happened to Mutagen Man in the 2012 show. They feel like his story was never wrapped up and it was an unfinished plot thread. So I'm going to go through the 2012 show and trace Mutagen Man's history and explain what happened to him. Mutagen Man starts off as a regular human named Timothy. He happened to see the Ninja Turtles fighting on a rooftop and felt inspired to fight crime himself. Timothy creates a little fake superhero costume and persona to try and tag along with the Turtles. Unfortunately, he's not a cool vigilante like Casey Jones. Timothy starts calling himself the Pulverizer and dressing up like a knockoff Ninja Turtle. He reminds me of someone in the Crooked Turtle gang. He starts following the Turtles around like Zack the Fifth Turtle and really only gets in the way. Timothy, the Pulverizer, is delusional and decides that dousing himself in ooze is a good idea. Needless to say, he just turns into a pile of goo and organs and seems to devolve into an angry feral monster, Mutagen Man. The Turtles trap him in a giant container, which essentially becomes his body, and they feel responsible for his regrettable mutation. Donatello vows to help him transform back into a human, and they move his container into the Turtles' lair.
I promise, Timothy. One day I'll turn you back.
Timothy, or Mutagen Man, is kind of just a static fixture in the background for a bit. He's just in limbo until Donnie can figure out how to mutate him back. In the meantime, Donatello creates a voice box for him so he can communicate. I love the way this distorted voice box sounds. Donnie spends a lot of time talking to Timothy the Pulverizer about April, and Timothy develops a sort of crush on April too. One day, Donnie leaves some ooze on the counter, and Timothy foolishly decides that dousing himself in mutagen again is a good idea. Of course, it goes poorly, and Mutagen Man changes into a frightening, angry monster. Mutagen Man tears up the city for a while, until the Turtles can stop him. Donatello feels horrible, and promises to help him transform back into a human someday.
I'm sorry, Timothy. Don't worry, my friend. One day, I'll find a cure.
The Turtles feel terrible about all the innocent people that have been turned into mutants because of them. Donnie feels so guilty and really wants to do the right thing by changing him back. But does Donnie ever change him back? Does Timothy turn into a human again? This is how most Turtles fans feel like Timothy the Mutagen Man's story ends, unresolved. But sadly, his story does get resolved, in a tragic way. In the Season 5 episode Carmageddon, which takes place in the future, a grown-up and grizzled Raphael is forced to fight in some sort of dystopian fight club, and he gets beat up hard. The fighting area is surrounded by filthy water, and Raphael gets kicked into it. It goes by quickly, and it's only on the screen for a second or two, but if you look in the lower right corner of the screen, you can see Mutagen Man's body at the bottom of the water. The 2012 show never explains exactly what happened, but I would guess that Mutagen Man was never changed back into Timothy, and apparently Mutagen Man passed away. It's a really sad, tragic ending for this character. Even though he's a total doofus, I couldn't help but root for him. He just wanted to help. I guess Donnie was never able to create Retro Mutagen for Mutagen Man, and he dies at some point. I'm not sure how far in the future this is supposed to be, but most of the other characters from the show have passed away by this point too. The 2012 show was surprisingly mature and adult at times, and the resolution of Mutagen Man's tale is a perfect example of how heavy this show could get. So, if you thought this was an unfinished plot thread, and you wondered whatever happened to Timothy, the Pulverizer, Mutagen Man in the 2012 TMNT show, you might get a little bit of closure from knowing Mutagen Man was never turned back into a human. Life, at best, is bittersweet. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment and share this video. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more Ninja Turtles videos like this.